How did you follow last night, Swansea and Derby?
Yeah, it's a funny one because I had on the radio I was listening to the game, and then on the TV I had Barcelona and Liverpool, and then on the laptop I had Hull, and I was also writing out the team plan. So yeah, it was difficult. I sent the wife and the little girl into their rooms, and I was just bouncing around the room, but. It is what it is, and we've taken it to the last day. The boys had to do their job against Millwall. I'm pleased that they did, because obviously we give the likes of yourselves and the fans something to get up for on the last day.
So how do you approach Sunday's game now?
Very simply, we know what we've got to do. We've got to win the game. There's no ifs or buts. We have to win, and we'll be taking the game to the opposition. Obviously, we've got to respect that Hull are a talented side. But with all due respect, it's about us and what we do on the day. And I think the Millwall game was a tough one for me mentally to take, because I was disappointed with our performance and our attitude to our performance in the first 60 minutes, and then absolutely delighted with the last 30 minutes. So we need to play more like we did in the last 30 minutes and have that attitude to commit space, to commit the opposition, and put teams on the back foot.
The away fans may give you an idea of what's going on elsewhere, but will you want to be kept in touch?
Yeah, I want to be kept in touch. Yeah, I think it's important. I think that it doesn't change the players' mindset on the pitch. They've got to make decisions, and we've got to work our hardest to find those moments in the games that we can capitalise on. And I know we can. I know we've got the talent to do it. But it's also the big picture that we need to continually improve our style, our application in matches, our understanding. There'll be new players coming in without question of a doubt in the summer. I think I'll be very, very bold with that one. And I think the club's in an absolute brilliant position to drive forward whatever division we're in.
Are you confident that West Brom and Rotherham are going to do everything they can?
Well, I think they're both good sides, you know. I think Warney's done a fantastic job. Obviously, they've been relegated, but to take it to the last couple of games with their resources, and they're a really difficult team to play at home, as we found. And Middlesbrough are a good side, but I do believe Rotherham have got threats, and they're a strong outfit and a very committed team. And I'm assured, just by knowing the values of the football club, that they'll give it their very, very best to get the result, and it'll be no different to West Brom and Derby.
I'm trying to think historically whether you and Paul Warne ever knew each other at Yeovil, or was he after you?
Yeah, no, it was after, but obviously we played against each other many times, and now managing, and then when he was at Yeovil, obviously mutual friends and stuff like that, so we met on a few nights out, so we spent a lot of time in each other's company.
And because it's a lunchtime kick-off, how will that alter sort of your preparation? You go up the day before, I presume? Yeah,
we're flying up, and I think that's important, because you'd be surprised how much it helps. And it's probably a 45-minute flight or something like that up there, and sometimes you can get caught in the traffic like 5-6 hours. So obviously we appreciate that and the expense at that cost, but it's worth it, because that little bit of zip in the legs against a talented side like Hull will be very important.
I think the supporters coaches are leaving here at 5 a.m. on Sunday, but you'll appreciate every single one of them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we'll be taking similar numbers to at the Millwall game, and the Millwall crowd and everybody that turned up fully deserved that win, because they stuck with us when we wasn't playing as well as we could have, and they saw it through with us, and they enjoyed it at the end. It's been a while since we comfortably took a win at Millwall, and we've had some difficult games against them historically. So I think that we always appreciate the fans, and in particular the travelling fans, because we know the expense and the effort they have to go to, and I'm sure that they'll set their alarms. And listen, we've got a chance, and if I was a fan, I would want to be there, because you always want to be there when something happened, and although we're hanging on by our fingernails, we've got nothing to lose, and we know where our position stands.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very good, Dan.
Lee, hi mate. Congratulations on a 5th year of improvement then at the club, and obviously you're going to finish in the top 8, whatever happens. I'm guessing obviously you want to finish a bit higher, but that's still some achievement, isn't it?
I think there's been so many achievements this season, and I think it's a real collective in terms of, I can chuck a few out, you know. I think the minutes that our under-23s have played, both in the league, has been the best ever for Bristol City and the football club. Strides are being made off the field in terms of facilities and infrastructure. On the field, we've had some mad statistics like New Year's Day wins for the first time in over 100 years, and record transfer sales, and managed to get better as well. So there's so many areas to everybody's performance: players, fans, sort of technical staff, administration staff, that have driven us on, and I think I'm very proud of that. We want to finish on 72 points, and hopefully that'll be enough, but if it's not, it gives us a fantastic platform to drive on. I will be bold in the summer. I'll be bold in my presentation to the board, because I believe that we've got the platform now to really kick on properly, and I think, like I say, credit goes to everybody really for what has been a good season. Yes, you look back at certain incidents and certain moments with that tinge of sort of what if you like, and certain decisions, and Andy Vyman's 3 goals that have been chalked off, and sendings off that wasn't, and penalties that weren't, and missed opportunities by conceding last minute goals and stuff like that. But over the course of the season, almost every club will have that, and the important thing for us is that we're really aggressive in our forward drive, and we pick up that steam. I think there's a potential for the Championship to stagnate next year in terms of finances, because of big clubs' positions and financial fair play, and I think at that point we can capitalise by making good decisions. And yes, we've got areas that we need to improve, but we are making huge strides to do that, and plans are in place in almost every weak area to spend, to improve and to advance really into being one of the most well-run clubs in the top 2 divisions.
Sounds exciting. One area you don't need to improve, obviously, is with the Millwall win. That's the 11th away win on the road this season, and no other club has bettered that record, which is pretty phenomenal, and obviously gives you good confidence heading up to Hull this weekend. Yeah,
of course, a fantastic credit to the boys. Like, again, the organisation that we put in place, and the spirit that we've got, because sometimes that can be a tough gig actually for a player. It doesn't sound like it, but it becomes a bit of a slog. You know, you've had the same pasta meal, if you like, 500 times in your career, and it can be a little bit unsociable sometimes, depending on the room situation. But we tried to bring everybody together. We've had guest speakers, we've had magicians come in, we've had comedians to keep the boys entertained. We've held our own little tournaments in various things. So, I think that's all important, and it all builds camaraderie to go and relieves pressure, if you like, in big atmospheres to be able to perform.
Apparently when Bristol City have won 10 games on the road in the last 6 seasons, they've always been promoted. So that's a pretty good omen.
Well, I hope so, yeah. And listen, the chances are slim, let's make no mistake, but we've got our job to do, and do I believe we can do it? Absolutely. Do I believe if we don't do it, we can do it the season after? Absolutely. And that's my point. We need to really have a forward offensive now in where we go and how we look at this division, because we've been competing in and around that top sort of 7 or 8 now for a good 2 seasons, and that's with losing or trading, if you like, because we've bought good players as well. So it's not about just selling the players, it's about buying the players. And some people might be slightly, they might question the attitude of the summer, but I can promise you it'll be bold.
Will you speak to Zach Viner ahead of the weekend at all? Obviously he's playing against Middlesbrough, maybe can gee him up a little bit.
Well, we did discuss it today about Zach sort of taking shots from 40 yards, and how nice it would be for that story, really, for you guys more than anything. But I think I'll give him a little perk up, no problem.
And just on loanees, it's been a really good week actually for the club in terms of Tyreek Bakinson and Sekou Jenner both being named as the young players of the year at their respective clubs. Again, I guess that bodes well for the future as well.
Yeah, loads of positives. Obviously, the Torquay boys that have got promoted. You've got Johnny Smith that's in the playoffs. Like I said, more under 23 league minutes than we've ever had before. Debuts for the likes of Max O'Leary and obviously Semenyo had played, but like sort of genuine sort of starts, if you like, for young players. Joe Morrell, league debut. So there's, again, a bright future there, and I think it's important that the players understand now that we are serious, and that if you are not on the bus mentally, physically, technically, then unfortunately you'll be moved on. In fairness to the boys, to a man, they showed outstanding application from the first day of pre-season until today, and I'm sure that'll be no different in moving on to the whole game Sunday.
How's the team looking for Sunday then? How's Nicky doing? Will he be better?
No, Nicky's struggling. No, he that was he's had a minor reoccurrence of his calf injury, and it was a risk. We knew that. Everybody sort of signed the disclaimer, if you like, in terms of player, manager, and physios. But and unfortunately, just the sheath or the scar tissue has just come away a little bit. And he'll be a couple of weeks sidelined.
You said Corey was out for the season, but what was the upshot with him in the end? Was he out for a long time?
Yeah, he's going to. Unfortunately, it's not good news. We've lost him probably for 5 or 6 months. He's had to have a plate in his foot to bind the metatarsals together and pull the ligaments tight. And it's a tough one to take because it's not related at all to the previous injury. It was a unique sort of freak incident, an accident, and one that he doesn't deserve, and I don't think we deserve as a football club either, given how important he is and what key attributes he's got.
Best of luck to him. Hull then, obviously they came down to Ashton Gate and it was a fairly close game. I thought they were a little bit unlucky in fact in that game. Do you expect a similarly close tie at the weekend, and might you go a bit more attacking because you need the win, or will you just approach it the same way?
Well, I think we approach every game to be attacking. You've got to find the ways to attack, and obviously an opposition at championship level is good defensively and offensively, and everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, and it's not easy. Like Millwall was a classic example of how difficult it was to break them down, but we got there in the end, even though we had the lion's share of the possession. And Hull will provide a different challenge. We've got to counter the counter well because they've got extremely talented players that stay ahead of the ball, and if you lose it, can really... the 5-5 one actually was probably a little bit of a preview, if you like, of how a game can go if both teams commit to total attack, and we don't want one of those, but certainly we want the attacking element to that.
Just finally, just wanted to ask about Sheffield United. Have obviously been promoted recently. How good a job has Chris Wilder done there, and also what would you say to just a few fans who may be a bit impatient and are saying Sheffield United have sort of overtaken Bristol City in the last couple of years since being promoted in comparison?
Well, I think it's, first and foremost, congratulations to Sheffield United. Wonderful achievement. Very different in the club's philosophies, I would say, in terms of the way they recruit. Chris Wilder's got a really interesting, unique way of playing, and one that has opened the eyes, if you like, of a lot of clubs and managers in this division, and it's been successful. They don't play a lot of youngsters. I think that's where it's different. They sign sort of experienced pros, if you like, for that individual role. And they've had a great year with injuries and keeping their best players fit. They made some big signings in January and spent a lot on wages, if you like, to try and get them over the line. And credit goes to them. And like I say, their philosophies are different. Is it right? Is it wrong? Who knows? Time will tell. We choose to build in our particular way, and we've got close, and we've beat them twice this year as well. So I think that's a good marker for our players, if you like, to have that element of belief. But not for 1 minute would I discredit the work and the achievement Sheffield United have done this year, and like I say, a fantastic football club that have deserved Premier League football that's coming to them.
Cheers, Lee. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good.